This is the Intex Ultra XTR Deluxe above-ground swimming pool set. And what you see here is a big, round above-ground pool that instantly makes any backyard feel like summer. I want to share my honest, down-to-earth experience with it, especially because when I started this backyard project, I had a lot of questions and even a few doubts. There's a lot to consider with something this size, from space and setup to everyday use, maintenance, and whether or not it's worth what you pay. So, this pool is round, 24 feet across and 52 inches deep, with a really bold blue inside and a sleek graphite outer look. The pool's shape makes it feel welcoming and is great for families or when you have friends over. With the tall sides, it's got real depth for actual swimming or just floating on a hot day. In my opinion, if you want a backyard pool that feels almost like an in-ground pool, but without all the cost and hassle of permanent construction, this is right in that sweet spot. Now, let me get straight to my own experience setting it up, since that's the place where a lot of people run into trouble. The key features you need to know about are the frame and liner. The pool has a galvanized steel frame, which just means it's made from steel that won't rust fast, even if it's outdoors all season. When I started putting it together, I realized pretty quickly that site preparation is way more important than any manual or video can really explain. The instructions say you need a totally flat, level piece of ground. That's no joke. If you try to cheat on this step or skip it, you'll regret it when you start filling up. Trust me, I learned the hard way. I thought the little slope in my yard wouldn't matter too much, but the water found it instantly, which shifts everything. If the pool legs aren't perfectly straight, one or two can start to tip once it's filled. And that's how people end up with bent frames or even a pool that isn't safe. What helped in my case was laying down extra sand and using some leftover landscaping rock to get things flat and compact. I marked out the spot, used spray paint to guide where the pump and filter would sit, and checked the level twice using some boards and a bubble level. It's maybe the least fun part, but it makes all the difference. Once all the groundwork was done, the actual frame snapped together almost like a toy. No tools or pins needed. The easy lock system is simple. A little push and the pieces connect. For a pool this big, the assembly feels surprisingly quick. When filling up, it takes a while. I had to use two hoses, one from my house and another from the well, which sped it along, but even then, you'll need to plan ahead. As the water comes up, I kept coming outside to check the legs. Some started to lean slightly and had to be pulled out and set straight again. It gets heavy fast as it fills, and you want those supports as vertical as possible. From my experience, this step is often skipped, but it saves your pool. The liner itself feels thick and tough. Intex calls it 3-ply, which is basically 3 layers for strength, so it's not likely to tear easily unless you really abuse it. Let's talk about the pump and filter system. Definitely one of the key features that make a difference once the water's in. The crystal clear sand filter pump is included, and it might sound technical, but it's just a filter that uses sand instead of paper or fabric, like a tiny version of what big pools use. That sand traps stuff like dirt, leaves, and fine particles, so your water stays clean without the need to buy cartridges all summer. Setting up the pump was pretty easy too. The hardest part was making sure it sat flat, since dirt or uneven ground under the filter can add vibrations and noise. I found a little concrete pad works best, but paver stones or a thick board would do. The pump is pretty quiet, and it has a control valve that lets you filter, backwash, which means running water backward through it to clean out junk, rinse, recirculate, and even drain if you need to empty some water out. Adding to the fun, this set comes with 2 inflatable recliner loungers and the Mega Chill 2 floating cooler. That cooler holds tons of drinks and snacks, which is honestly perfect for hot days when you don't want to keep running inside for refreshments. The loungers have cup holders and armrests. It really makes a difference when you want to just float and relax. Once it's all up and running, this pool honestly feels huge. It claims to fit up to 10 people, and I think that's about right. I've had a few friends and family over, and nobody felt crowded. There's plenty of room for swimming laps if that's your thing, or goofing around with a ball, or just stretching out on a float. The depth is deep enough that adults can submerge fully, or even practice a couple strokes, but not so deep that it's unsafe for kids, as long as you supervise. For anyone new to above-ground pools, let me share a couple things to keep in mind. The included ladder is definitely the weak link. It works, it stands up, but it's not the most rugged or most comfortable if you're going in and out all day. You might want to upgrade if you have lots of people or expect heavy use. The ground cloth included is just a basic tarp. It helps prevent punctures, but if your yard is rocky, Spend a little extra on a thicker liner or more sand underneath. Another basic tip, take care when cleaning. The liner is durable, but sharp things will still poke holes. Now, is there a learning curve with maintenance? There is, but it's nothing overwhelming. You'll want to grab a basic pool water testing kit to keep chlorine and pH in the safe zone, but the sand filter keeps things clear with just occasional care. Backwashing is simple, not scary, and you only need to replace the sand every few years. If I'm honest, my main concern at first was whether the pool would last season to season. After a few months of use, I'm impressed. The metal frame hasn't shown any rust, even after some heavy summer storms, and the blue liner, while faded slightly from the sun, hasn't cracked or leaked anywhere. I've read some stories about seam leaks online, but mine had no issues so far. Maybe that's luck, or maybe the careful setup helped. It's perfect for families who want a fun backyard summer without the massive price tag of an in-ground pool, or for anyone who loves hosting cookouts, birthday parties, or just wants to relax outdoors with friends. I'd recommend this for anyone with the yard space and a weekend to set it up. Just don't skip the groundwork or try to rush the fill-up. It's not permanent, so when the season's over, you can drain dry and pack it away. In conclusion, the Intex Ultra XTR Deluxe above-ground swimming pool set really delivers on size, fun, and durability, especially if you put in the effort up front to set it up right. It looks good, feels strong, and with the sand filter, you get clear water without a lot of hassle all summer long. There are a few small downsides, like the basic ladder and some patience needed for setup. But overall, this pool turned my backyard into the go-to spot for summer gatherings and chill weekends. You can view detailed information about the Intex Ultra XTR Deluxe above-ground swimming pool set in the comments section. Thank you for watching.